The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Welcome to this week's episode of Work the Left Side. I'm joined, it's a spotlight episode, and I'm joined by Ryan Palmer and Mick Connolly, and we discuss the voice of the voiceless, Mr. CM Punk. Obviously, we recorded this on Wednesday. I'm recording this intro on Friday. Episode's going to drop on Sunday, so he may have made his debut tonight on Rampage. Who knows? If he has, awesome. Well, you'll understand when you watch the episode. I'm a massive mark for Punk. He's the guy that got me back into wrestling in 2011. I kind of taken hiatus for about 3 years prior to that. Kind of kept my eyes on it, but then kind of came back into it full time on the back of the WWE's version of the Summer of Punk, which I won't discuss now, obviously, because that comes up in the episode. So watch it, enjoy it, let us know what you think, and as always, like, subscribe, share the channel, go like the page on Facebook, join us there, a little bit of chit chat on there, and just leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and thank you for watching. So enjoy the episode, and we will see you hopefully again next week. Cheers. Bye bye.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. This is a spotlight episode. Officially, it is clobbering time. I am here with Mr. Palmer and Mr. Mick. Say hi. Hello. Gentlemen.
Hi, gentlemen.
Mick is taking the straight-edged thing seriously for this episode.
Yeah.
You just quickly threw away a cigarette before we started filming, and he's nicking the amber nectar. So there we go.
I'm also wearing the best wrestler of the Punk era t-shirt. So. I don't know what Palmer's problem is.
That fucking great. Getting chucked off fucking floor and stuff.
So as you can guess, it is the CM Punk spotlight episode. It's kind of fallen nicely. We said we were going to do this ages ago. I did the artwork for it ages ago, and it's just kind of fallen quite nicely based on the possible debut this Friday. So there we go. If we hashtag it CM Punk, you never know. And Mick will.
I hope not.
Awesome t-shirt. What, you hope he doesn't debut?
No.
It'd be fucking hilarious if he didn't. Oh my god. Fucking
That's
sky.
what I want. I really want him just to fuck everyone over.
What Strowman come out and be like the complete opposite of what they expect. You go from CM Punk to Braun Strowman. Strowman will come out on Friday or something, and it will just go Chernobyl. The internet will just melt.
Bo Dallas comes out dressed as him or something like that. That would be fucking brilliant.
Turns up on SmackDown and he acknowledges Roman. Oh god. What the fucking meltdown begin.
Comes out going, I can't believe you believe the rumours.
God. Right, and on that note, Mick will have limited conversation on this episode.
Yeah.
He will only speak when spoken to.
It's okay, I'm the Mick and I'm awesome.
Fuck you.
You're not doing yourself any favours.
Semi first can.
Anyway, based on that, Mr. Palmer, I'll let you go first. What have we got, dude?
Oh, everyone probably will have this one, so I'm going to steam into for it. Monday in about two. the WWE Championship match with John Cena. Punk's threatening to leave the company at midnight when his contract expires. Mr. McMahon livid. He wants John to win. John doesn't win, and John's fired. There's the lead up to that is the pipe bomb. Punk's pissed off with everything. Punk's pissed off with Cena or the idea of Cena being the best. Punk says he's the best in that ring, on commentary, everywhere, etc., etc. We all know the background to the pipe bomb. Crowd's 100% behind Punk is pure CM Punk chants before he even comes out to them.
It's one of the loudest pops I've heard when his music hits ever. And I still remember that, and I purposely didn't watch this match. But I still remember that pop.
Yeah. This pop, as soon as you hear it's fire, man. It just goes off big style. There's a couple of Cena wins the Riot signs. It's kind of reminiscent of One Night Stand, 2005 or whichever one it was. 2006. You've got Cole, you've got Booker, you've got the King on commentary. They're all hyping up the contract expiry, Punk being a free agent, and going elsewhere after he wins or if he wins, being fired, etc. Punk gets into the ring, sits down cross-legged. The crowd do not stop chanting for Punk. Styles up, he's running up the crowd, goes out of the ring, kisses a woman, I think it's his mum. Maybe it's his sister, I don't know what his family was at that time. I know he had a sort of relationship with his sister. But this is a lady on her cheek. Fucking Brock Lesnar goes in the fucking crowd with a sign. Front row addiction. So he's jacket bloke. Clown guy, and there's a lady that's always been in the crowd every so often, like the middle-aged fish kind of lady.
Isn't the clown guy? Isn't that Noel Foley's fella? Isn't that Frank the Clown?
Yeah, I think it was him. He wasn't in full clown. He just had a clown wig on, slightly clownish makeup.
I hate clowns. Sorry.
And yet you're wearing them as t-shirt.
Yeah, you're wearing a clown t-shirt. Cena's music hits, boom, straight away. Walks to the ring. Colt Cabana's at ringside. Cena just walks to the ring instead of fucking running to the ring and sliding as he usually does. Holds up the title with his head down low. Got his cap down again, like fucking One Night Stand. Throws his cap into the crowd, doesn't get thrown back. Eventually takes his t-shirt off, throws that into the crowd, but he throws it directly at a Cena fan, so they're definitely going to get thrown back at him. They start off, there's a lot of chain wrestling going on. It's very, the start is very touchy-feely, like they're trying to gain like the upper hand. Soon as Cena does get the upper hand, he gets booed. There's "you can't wrestle" chants. Punk's like, hey, and they cheer him, they boo Cena. Cole references at WrestleMania as Cena's. When Punk was at WrestleMania before he debuted, he was riding on the side of Cena's gangster car. Like his fake Tommy gun. So they're like kind of making the comparison of where Punk started from in the company to where he is now. Get to that particular point. He's won 2 world championships so far, but hasn't won the linear WWF/E championship. This is where he's at now. He's about to win that. So they're really, really hyping that on commentary. They're hyping fucking the 97 screw job as well. Kind of like, you really shouldn't, because now you're going to fucking have alluding it to what could possibly be planned. That's like, you don't want to foreshadow too much. Cena's getting booed when he's applying a fucking rest hold, knocks Punk down. He's getting booed for that. But then when Punk does the same thing, he's getting cheered. So it's a completely partisan crowd. Punk can't do anything wrong. In terms of the crowd, there's like high pitch, let's go Cena, which gets drowned out by CM Punk or Cena sucks. Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Let's go Cena.
What were they doing, mate? Well, go with Sorry, couldn't help myself. I just wanted to hear that one more time.
Like with the Cena, let's go Cena with a quite very childlike voice.
It is.
Slash female.
Oh, was it female as well? Sorry. Oh, it's a chick magnet. So, I don't know.
That's what the CM stands for, apparently. Punk goes out the ring, snaps a high five with Colt Cabana. They don't reference Colt Cabana on the commentary. There's somebody else stood with Colt Cabana, but I don't know who that is. I don't know if
It's Ace something or another, who was one of his trainers, I think.
So Punk hits a knee drop on Cena's neck while Cena's like splayed out on the ring apron. That's about to destroy my fucking. Cena gets a 2 off a modified AA yay boo spot. Knees down. Punk's hitting Cena getting yay. Cena hitting Punk getting boo. Then Cena gets Punk in an abdominal stretch move. Rakes the eye to get out of it. Slightly botchy, high cross body. Fucks them both over. I think Punk lands on Cena's knee, and Cena's knee hits Punk's ribs. So they're both got to take 5 after that. There's a bulldog, there's a flying clothesline for 2 from Punk. Cena slaps on his STFU and really loud boos when he does that. It doesn't work the fucking hole, he just does the usual plays there with it, plays, and like, at least make it look like you're wrenching back on the tent. Like,
it was never as good as Mrs. Figure 4.
Yeah, there's another sort of famousy type fan in the crowd, but we hate seeing that guy. Black dude with glasses, looks kind of nerdish. Wears a t-shirt that says "We hate you." Stood next to the North lady. At this point, the crowd has just stood on their feet. The crowd are non-stop. It's kind of like the stadium stampede, the Canadian stampede. The crowd just do not stop in that main event. They're not as animated and as they're not shaking the hard cameras as the Canadian stampede fans were. But these fans, they don't stop. They just don't stop. They're really loud. Punk hits a GTS, but Cena falls out the ring. He hit Cena in the ribs with his GTS, but it's still hard enough for Cena to roll out the ring. Again, slightly botchy. A couple of botchy moves in this. You got Vince and John Laurinaitis come to the ring, stand in the entranceway, a la the screw job. So again, yet another allusion to the screw job. Cena slaps on the STFU. And Vince goes, ring the bell. So he sends fucking John Laryngitis down the ring to try and get the timekeeper. Cena rolls out the ring, clotheslines John Laryngitis. Laryngitis is on the floor. Vince says to Vince, "No, I don't want to win it that way. I want it fair and square." Punk hits the GTS. The GTS is a bit of a slightly dodgy, slightly botchy the way he hits it, and Cena just seems to just go back. It's a really huge flat back bump. 1, 2, 3 from Brian or whichever Armstrong it is. These weird cadence counting. Punk wins. Vince is just in the entranceway. Just, commentary just like, oh my god, in an hour, Punk is no longer an employee of WWE, or is it fucking independent contractor with Punk? Not an employee. He'll be away with the title. Punk, Vince heads for the commentary, grabs the King or Michael Cole's fucking headset. Get down here, cut the music, get down here, don't cash over here, with his suitcase. Tries to cash in on Punk. Punk hits him in the head. Punk jumps over the barricade. Blows a kiss to Vince, runs up the steps through the crowd. Show ends. Vince is just, this concert. Oh, 5-star match as voted for as awarded by Meltzer. So we'll go on. A couple of botchy moves in there, but I think 5 stars is.
It certainly is for the storytelling. For the storytelling, it's 5+ for me, but I think it's a brilliant story. The only problem with it was it just felt like they were flogging a dead horse a bit with the whole, like you said, the screw job mentions and how they were doing that and stuff. It was just like, oh, come on, Vince, get over it. It's been nearly 15 years. We all know the story. You don't have to flog that dead horse again.
It literally would have been 14 years, wouldn't it? 2011. Yeah. Jesus. It's just, but yeah, I mean, it's Punk's second 5-star match. The first one came very close to the start of the Summer of Punk in 2005 as well. So we might get a 5-star match at some point later this year.
It wasn't any of these matches with Ryback. I was shocked by that.
I actually watched.
No! I can't believe you did as well.
But the fans
you watched that for the Shield. I'm guessing it was Survivor Series. You watched it for the Shield. I know how your little mind works, Nick.
But did you hear the fans' reaction when Ryback nearly got the belt? They popped huge.
He was over as fuck at one point.
Yeah.
Don't know why. No idea why.
I don't know why. But anyway, what the hell?
And then obviously we've got obviously now Cena this week, hasn't he? He's been posting the pictures of Punk blowing the kiss for the title belt and stuff on Instagram.
Well, he did it on Saturday, didn't he? Or Monday? Was it Saturday? He did it to somebody. He blew a kiss to somebody. Oh no, he made a reference. He cut promo on Roman, didn't he?
They cut the promo about him saying how his face was protected by Rollins and Ambrose and shit. But then he's also on Instagram, as I say, just posted a picture of Punk holding the title up, blowing the kiss and everything.
Because he did make reference to blowing the kiss. He said to Roman, "I'm going to win the title. Maybe I'll blow you a kiss on the way out."
Yeah, and then he's posted that. So
that's. I mean, for Cena, you'd think that WWE don't really want to acknowledge Punk at the minute. Bring any more attention to it. It seems a bit.
We're getting 2 big returns coming up. Punk is coming back to WWE, I think, and we're getting Bray Wyatt back at SummerSlam now. I think Bray Wyatt's coming back at SummerSlam. Why else would they put Alexa Bliss against Eva Marie on the main show?
To sell more dolls, who knows? I don't know, man. But let's take it back to the good. Yes, Punk and Cena. Man, as you sort of say, that match was obviously it was WWE's version of Summer of Punk. which long-term fans will know originated back in Ring of Honor in 2005. Yeah, man, that match was awesome. Obviously, the build-up to it was cracking. I mean, the actual fucking... Any of you watched the promos leading up to it?
Obviously, the pipe bomb and stuff, yeah.
We also had the pipe bomb, and then like a week or 2 weeks later, you had the one where Vince is sat in the ring, sat at the table for the
this way he's telling him he wants his ice cream bars and stuff.
Yeah. It's got like this, like, Vince offers him a contract. He says, no, I've got a new contract, and it's got like all these, demands in it. And one of them is, like the ice trolley kind of thing. But he's also like sort of saying, I want you to apologise to like Colt Cabana, and there's somebody else that he mentions. He says, you fired him for no reason at all. I want you to apologise. So Vince actually sort of says, you're sorry.
David Hart.
And yeah, he actually lodges the watch out as well, because Vince says sorry, and the fans are like, what? And he's like, if there's any appropriate time for that chant, it's right now. He's like, what? He's like, sorry. He says, I'm sorry, you son of a bitch. And it's like, yeah, it's just awesome. It's a really good promo between Vince and Punk. So you can imagine Vince wasn't overly fond of Punk, even at that point, kind of thing. He's just doing it for the sake of doing it. But it's a really good promo that worked really well between them. And then they went and ruined the summer of Punk by having him lose to Del Rio. Sorry if either of you had that match, because I've just gone to spoil it. But,
No.
I'm guessing neither of you did, really. I didn't think you would sit through Del Rio.
No, but thankfully the Kevin Nash match come not long after that. And I had...
That was the end of the summer of Punk.
It was, yeah. Nash. Kevin Nash at SummerSlam, I know.
That's how you end the... Oh, my, I'm like, really? That is, like, it could have been one of the greatest feuds. It could have been the launching point for possibly, not to the same level.
Talk about looking after your mates.
It's just, they could have launched, because a lot of people credit that whole CM Punk thing as their coming back point. And I kind of dropped off the radar. I kept thinking, like, I checked up on it online kind of thing, but I didn't watch it until that Money in the Bank. That was the first pay-per-view I'd watched in about 3 years. And a lot of people felt the same. But yeah, then they go and ruin it with Del Rio and Kevin Nash. So, Mr. Palmer. Oh, Mr. Palmer, sorry. What you did on yours. Mick, sorry, I'm just upset. I'm emotional. Just thinking about the wasted opportunity. Mick, what we got?
I got two for one, basically, because I was watching one match and then the next one come up after it as well. So it's from 2003 in Ring of Honor. And it was where he was involved in a feud with Raven.
Dog collar match.
Dog collar match, and also the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match as well.
Have you got that, Palmer? Ryan, did you watch either of those as well? Because you was kind of shaking at the screen.
In the Raven.
Got the Raven match.
He watched for the Raven episode, I think he said.
I'm sure we both covered. Well, I covered these. It's fine. Yeah, as Raven. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
It's got a bit.
Mick.
Dude, no, I can't hear you.
No, it's gone to shite, mate.
It's gone to shit. You're now the voiceless of the voiceless listeners.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just broken. I'm broken. We haven't even mentioned his trigger words or anything, and he's fucked again.
By the way, he's a sleeper agent or something. Right, go on, tell me
a bit of misference.
Oh my god, dude, that was awful.
I know, mate. Jesus. I can't help myself.
But I still do tip my hat to you.
Yeah.
That was good. Right, go on, the Raven match.
So yeah, so the dog collar match. It was basically where there was a lot of it where they were talking about how they'd had a number of matches. How obviously Punk was using the fact that Raven had been obviously in AA and stuff like that, and how he was clean and sober and on the wagon and everything. For some reason as well, don't know, didn't look into it further, but he's bad mouthing Danny Dory, who's having a beer in the crowd, bad mouthing him because he's having a beer and he's ECW.
He was kind of Raven's student or something at the time. Was he part of Raven's Extreme Revolution or something?
Oh, I
they
can't.
made reference to an Extreme Revolution.
I can't remember, but there's a lot of peroxide on the go. I know that much.
Yes.
Obviously in 2003, because Punk's got the blonde hair, Raven's got the blonde hair, Doran's got the blonde hair.
Yeah.
And none of them, I believe, are natural. Believe it or not. So.
Punk though when he juiced near the start of the match.
Yeah, well, literally within about a minute of the match starting, Punk's already busted open because Raven's just absolutely hammering him, constantly whipping him with the chain. He's got him on the outside. He's throwing him at the ringside barriers, everything. And then, like I say, within about a minute on the outside, he's just pissing blood. And then basically it continues on. Punk finally starts getting some offense in with a low blow, I think it is, to turn the tides. And then basically they just sort of then start to free for all, basically, where they're out in the crowd and everything. Just basically battering each other to and fro all the way through the crowds. Raven's doing a few spots. Yeah, where he's got the fans holding up the chairs. He's ramming Punk's head into them and everything. And then he climbs to the top of the bleachers to do the Raven pose. And Punk yanks the dog collar. And he flies down that, and it looks like his leg almost gets trapped between two of the benches as well, which could have been absolutely disgusting, but thankfully it didn't. And then Punk's obviously just got the advantage on that because of that fall. He goes back into the ring. As I say, I'm just doing it briefly because, as I said, I had 2 matches on there. It comes out where I think Raven's hit the Raven effect or something, or something's happened, and Colt Cabana comes out.
Yes. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Second City Saints.
Yeah, and then Colt Cabana comes out, hits a DDT. Then Danny Doran appears, clears out Colt Cabana. Raven's out for I'd say a good minute or so while Danny Doran's beating up Colt Cabana. But then Punk climbs over and gets the pin, gets the dirty win, and then tapes him up to the ropes and everything. And starts bad mouthing him, saying, "Oh, you're gonna fall off the wagon now," and everything. And he starts pouring beer down his thing, and then all of a sudden the crowd erupts, and Tommy Dreamer appears, and he's like he hits him over the head with a sick chair shot, and it is a proper sickening chair shot.
Just
yeah, and you just see it bend completely just in the V, and then he hits the DDT and everything, and straps Punk up the same way, tapes him up to the ropes. And then undoes Raven's. Him and Raven hug in the middle of the ring, which was weird. It's just weird seeing them two embrace in any way other than violent towards each other. But then obviously they pour the beer down Punk's neck. And Punk's there just obviously selling, just trying to spray everything out of his mouth, wants none of it. And then, like I say, it then goes on to this Clockwork Orange House of Fun match a couple of months later, which is... It's horrible to watch because the cage, the holes in the cage are so small. Like sort of on the hard cam, it's really it's quite difficult to actually get a view of what's going on. And basically it's like as bad as the Red Hell in a Cell with a red light on and stuff. It's that bad. Trying to see it at times and everything. And again, this one they're just constantly selling it that Raven can't beat Punk. Every time he's tried, he can't beat him. They're selling that they've got a pick your poison thing coming up in a couple of weeks' time, where they're picking each other's opponents for like a number 1 contenders thing. So Ravens chose Terry Funk for Punk, and so somewhere in YouTube there's a CM Punk versus Terry Funk match at Ring of Honor, which I couldn't find, and they were saying how Punk had chose Steve Carino for Raven, so they were obviously trying to sell Steve Carino, who I do love anyway. So. Again, more peroxide. But again, it's just sort of the Punk's bleeding within a minute of this match starting. Again, it's just a cage match. It's sort of like Monsters Ball, where it's a steel cage match, but it's just full of weapons. So they're just beating the shit out of each other, like I say. There's tables everywhere. Raven pushes Punk off the top of the cage at some point through the table, but doesn't get the win and hits a Raven effect DDT. And I think Colt Cabana, for some reason, was dressed as one of like sort of Dex's Midnight Runners or something, with a weird red neckerchief round his neck and everything, and looking stupid. Just opens the cage door. There's no locker, he just opens it and goes to throw the chair at the referee, and just doesn't get the throw right, and sort of bounces and sort of pisses onto the referee's ribs a little bit. But it's like the ref stops his count, and he's like selling as though he's been like sort of fucking sat on by earthquake or something. And then again, he slams the door in Raven's face. But then he just climbs out and closes the door again. And then they're battling again, and I think the match finishes with fucking Raven set up a table, and he hits a top rope Raven effect DDT through the table to finally beat him and everything. And then next thing, the lights go out, and for some reason on YouTube, it's like whenever the match finishes on the Ring of Honor things, they audio disabled and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's like something's going on, all the lights are out, and then the commentary come back on, but it's still darkness, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so terrified what's going to happen when the lights come on and stuff." You don't hear anything happening or anything, and then the lights finally come back on. The audio disappears again, and Raven's like sort of attached to a big red cross, and he's got like barbed wire wrapped around him and stuff, and that's basically it. They just leave him there in the ring attached to that. But no idea, because obviously I haven't watched it before this. Yeah. No idea what happened for it or how any of this has come about. But no, they're looking at it. It seems as though they had like a number of massive matches during Ring of Honor, because they were saying it's the feud of the year and everything.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a theme as well, because in the bull rope match, when he's giving Raven the beer, he's got him basically chained to the rope, and like he's crucified. It's very reminiscent of the Sandman angle from ECW.
Yeah.
So yeah, Punk's got like Raven crucified on the rope. So as you say, there, if that match ends with him being on a bloody cross as well, it seems to be a very sort of.
But I think it's like the red X, the straight edge red X, obviously that he's got in his hand. It's like that. It's that sort of laid down sort of thing. So it is actually like an X, not as a cross sort of thing. Yeah. But no, obviously it's Raven. But there's little bits in there where he's referring to Raven as Flamingo and stuff like that. He's like, he's like, "Fuck you, Flamingo" and stuff. But yeah, no, they're good matches, and there will be ones I'll be going back to find more of their matches that they had, because apparently they had a load of them, and they were all absolute belters. And you see, I found matches I enjoyed. Yes, to me.
It's always a plus. Mr. Palmer, can we hear
you? Kind of leading on to that one, or leading from that, I've got a Ring of Honor.
You're not allowed one, Nick.
The Punk had just won the Ring of Honor Championship from Austin Aries, and there'd been rumours that Punk had been in cahoots or had been scouted by WWE and after WWE, but there was nothing concrete back then.
No, it was. That was literally the start of the Summer of Punk. When he beat Aries, he'd already signed with WWE at that point. That's why it came as a massive shock.
Is that the one where he signs the contract on the Ring of Honor?
It's after that match. Yeah.
This one. I'm going to go into that one in a minute. After this, so Punk's in the ring, sat down with the title, and he says, "Oh, this is the most beautiful." Some say this is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And he's holding the belt. He says it's the most important belt in North America today. And in any other man's hands, it's just the belt. But to him, it's power. It means power. The crowd is just like, yeah, and the crowd are really into it. He's got the crowd in his fucking hand. Just like, heart eyes, they're hooked onto everything. So just like this mic in my hand. Just like this mic in my hand. Mic in my hand. In anyone else's hand, it's just a mic. In my hand, it's a pipe bomb. There's a fucking pipe bomb record. And then he recites the parable of the old man walking in the snow. The old man finds a snake, and the snake's all frozen solid. The old man takes the snake, takes it home, draws out the snake gets better, and the snake bites the old man. As the old man's dying, he says, "Why did you bite me?" And Punk goes up to the camera and just says, "Because I'm a snake." And he says that the crowd is just like, what's going on? So then he goes on a quote, what's it called? The usual suspects. He uses what is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? Making you believe he didn't exist. It's just, I'm the fucking devil, I'm the devil, I do exist. Calls the crowd stupid. He says, I'm not mad at you, I just feel sorry for you. I'm the greatest wrestler in the world today. I'm just using your emotions. I'm better than Low Key, I'm better than Styles, I'm better than Joe. The champ is here, he says. Because I think it's like before Cena actually said that. Maybe.
I think Cena started saying it when he was US champ.
Yeah.
And with this title, no one can stop me. And I'm taking this title with me. So then, which leads on to my next promo, which is it's called Sign of Dishonor, where Cena signs the contract on the title itself. Punk comes out of the ring. He's dressed in a suit, got long purple hair, got a tie on. In the previous promo, he's blondish hair. This one has got purple hair. So I don't know if that's like a reference to the Joker.
I think that was Triple H's first rejected look when he became world champion. You know, his evolution. He was going to have the long purple hair with the suit on and stuff, but we might be wrong.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. He actually
but that was going to be purple as well. It was going to be a purple mutton chop with mustaches.
It's time to play in purple. The music's cult of personality, which I didn't remember him using back then. Apparently, he did. Just walking around the ring, jaw-jacking with the crowd. The crowd is saying, "Fuck you, Punk! Fuck you, Punk!" He's probably giving it some with his girl in the crowd. She's like a piss off and whatever else. And there's the ring. One bloke keeps calling him a fucking clown. You're a fucking clown, Punk.
Was it the same guy who came dressed as a clown at Money in the Bank?
It could be. That was
the irony.
No, I'm a clown.
I'm the clown. So, what kind of genius would I be if I told you my master plan? The sound on this is fucking terrible as well. You can only make out bits and pieces of it. Like,
yeah. It's the pot calling the kettle black.
Really? Oh, yeah. Fuck. Damn it. So this is 18 months ago he was working for TNA. Fuck TNA chance going up when he says that. He was told whilst working for TNA that he could not work for any other company. He could not work for Ring of Honor at least.
I think that was when the Raven thing started as well. I think it was in TNA or an Impact where he first turned on Raven.
It was part of Raven's. It was part of Raven's flocking TNA, wasn't he? And then he turned on him. I don't know if it carried over into Ring of Honor, whether they acknowledged it or whether
it was a similar time. It was 2003, so
might have been coincidence. I don't think Ring of Honor and TNA would acknowledge each other in that sense.
Styles, Christopher Daniel, and Jerry Lynn, they were all in the same company at the same time. They had a meeting with him and with Punk. And Styles was the NWA champion at the time. That title didn't compare to his Ring of Honor championship. Said that if they stuck together, they can work for any company they wanted to, but not WWE. They all agreed. He says that he built Ring of Honor. He built that company on his shoulder. Says it wasn't Joe, it wasn't Daniels, it wasn't Loki, or Styles, or Lynn. It was him. Mocks the crowd. Says he lifted ROH up on his shoulders and carried ROH on his shoulders. As everyone else turned their back on Ring of Honor and left. Just like the fans turn their back on him, because the crowd can't do a thing about it. Then he gets an offer from WWE. Crowd starts to chant, "You sold out! You sold out!" He says he's the best fucking technical wrestler in Ring of Honor, the best street fighter in Ring of Honor that Ring of Honor's ever had. Says he hasn't signed a contract with WWE yet, but then he turns around, produces a contract from out of his pocket. So he's gonna sign it now. Puts it on the title belt, hands it to the ring announcer so he can like get something to lean on. Ring announcer just says, "No, I'm not gonna allow you to do that. You're disrespecting Ring of Honor." He leaves the ring, goes to the referee. Says the referee, "Hey, hold this while I sign the contract on the belt, on the belt." No, he ain't doing that either. So the referee legs it, calls one of his students into the ring. The student holds the belt. He signs the title and says, "Right, I sign it and you can all kiss my ass goodbye." The crowd do that, na 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 na. Jamie Gibson comes to the entranceway. He rushes the ring. Punk legs it. The student gets I can't even remember what it's called. I think it's a tiger driver that he gets. Really stiff one. Hits the fucking back of the head of the kid's head. Punk goes to leave through the entranceway. Christopher Daniels is there. Starts beating the shit out of Punk. Punk goes back to the ring. Runs into Jamie Gibson again. Jamie Gibson's about to fucking give him the tiger driver. But then Punk again escapes through the crowd. That's both those interconnected promo spots.
Yeah, they call him Jamie Noble then, didn't you?
I nearly did, yes.
Yeah, for the people who don't know, Jamie
He'll
Gibson
always be Jamie Noble.
is Jamie Noble.
Jamie
And the man who took the belt off Punk when he left Ring of Honor. Little Jamie Noble from WWE, former Ring of Honor.
Didn't he hold the title up until like the day before he was due to leave or something like that? And it was because he was saying how he was going to take it with him or something like that. I'm sure he was saying something similar as Gain on that. I'm sure he held it right up until he was about to leave for WWE, and like sort of it was one of his last appearances where he lost it. I might be completely wrong, but
no, it was because I think literally at that point it was on like a handshake of agreements kind of thing. His contract had run out.
Yeah.
And I think it was just on verbal agreements. It basically, when he signed with WWE, he stated to them, "Look, I've got verbal agreements to do another 2 matches or 3 matches for Ring of Honor. Obviously, I want to honour that." WWE allowed it. He went and did those matches for Ring of Honor. But I think he was technically under contract to WWE at that point. So, it was his last match. He dropped it to Mr. Jamie Gibson / Noble. So again, the good summer of Punk, because just man, when I was watching these Ring of Honor matches, I miss like I've been going to like indie shows or house shows, like local shows, just when the crowd absolutely just rowdy as fuck. You just hear like the Ring of Honor guys chanting. It's just like, obviously you don't get that in WWE, but you just got like the fuck 'em up chants, or you suck cock. Just general, really sort of gnarly chants towards the wrestlers.
Go on, Nick. We'll let you do one.
Me, okay. I watched the Voice of the Voiceless versus the American Dragon from Ring of Honor with Ricky Steamboat as the special guest referee. Apologies if either of you two have got this one.
No.
Awesome. Starts off. Apparently, Punk and Steamboat had beef prior to this match. The commentators alluded to it quite a bit, sort of saying like, "Oh shit, Punk, better be careful. Don't get Steamboat, don't get into Ricky's face." But they're saying, "Oh, Ricky's a professional. We'll call it down the middle." Blah blah blah. It's just really surreal seeing CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Ricky Steamboat all in the ring together. But yeah, it was what you think it would be. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it is. You can go watch it on YouTube. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it was as good as you would expect. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk to be. I'll call him Daniel Bryan for the people who only watch WWE and don't know about him as Bryan Danielson. It's Punk and Bryan absolutely just tearing it up, hold after hold. Punk's playing the heel. D-Bry's obviously the baby face. He just looks so fucking young as well. You just kind of look back and think, Jesus. Punk does as well. And
age is a funny thing.
It is mental. But they just got hold. The crowd are going nuts as well. And there's actually, I think this might be at one point, Bryan's got Punk on the top rope, about to go for a superplex, and the fans are chanting like, "Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no." And I was like, "Shit, that's the originator of the yes, no chant." For some reason, I don't know whether it was a one-off or whether they did it a few times in Daniel Bryan matches. In Ring of Honor, I haven't seen that much Danielson in Ring of Honor. I don't know if it was a general thing for his matches, but it was very reminiscent of, or very much a prelude to the yes chant. So, yeah, it's an awesome match. I won't give away the ending. It's technical. There's hold after hold. Danielson is just working Punk. He's working every sort of part of his body. He's stretching him. He's tearing him. And Punk's healing it up awesomely as well. So that would be a hugely recommended match, and it's free on YouTube. A lot of Ring of Honor matches that we'll talk about are on YouTube. I think it's basically why we kind of.
I think we could do a Ring of Honor Spotlight episode actually, not just on a superstar Ring of Honor ones from especially the early days of it. The early days of Ring of Honor, when you look at the roster that they had. Jesus Christ, man! The people who've come through Ring of Honor and everything like that—it's fucking ridiculous.
WWE's just bloody Ring of Honor light.
Well, that's what NXT basically become Ring of Honor, didn't it?
Yeah,
just without the code.
Yeah, lost its purpose of being developmental and became a super indie.
Yeah.
So now it's going back to what it is.
Which is what Vince is doing, which is, I think, why there's been so many releases based on what they're saying now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, they hooved up and down about 300 people apparently on the roster at one point. Massive.
Which when you've got what was it, 1 hour TV show and a 5-match pay-per-view, it's hard to keep them all happy, isn't it? So.
Yes, but yeah, I mean the Ring of Honor stuff is amazing. I mean, I've watched Punk versus AJ Styles match for the first ever Honor title.
I've watched that one.
Yeah, that was.
That's
awesome.
not my next one I'll talk about though, but
I think there was a match where it was Punk and Carino versus, I want to say it was called the Futures or something like that. But I think it was Roddy Strong, and it might have been a young Kyle O'Reilly, which would have been very weird to see. Obviously, a very young Undisputed Era kind of thing. But yeah, obviously Punk and Carino in a tag team together, that would be worth a watch at some point.
Yeah, I love Steve Carino. I always did. I thought he was from day one in ECW. I was watching him. I just thought there was something about him. There was nothing flashy or anything like that, and it's just fucking.
I saw him. Just a sidebar. I saw him at 1PW years ago in Doncaster in a barbed wire rope match against Abyss.
Nice.
That was fucking. It was just brutal. It was awesome. It was Abyss versus Carino in a barbed wire rope match. It did exactly what it said on
as you do in Doncaster.
The dome was awesome, man.
The home of barbed wire.
So many awesome things. Shout out to 1PW, back in the day. So we have Mr. Palmer's just done the promos. What's your match, Mick?
We mentioned it, but I'm not going to do that one. So the AJ one, but I'll not do that one. I'm going to do Punk versus Jericho at Extreme Rules 2012, which was the rematch to WrestleMania. Which for me had possibly one of the best and also worst storylines ever because of the subject of it, but how the two of them done it was amazing. Because it could have been so wrong where it was the whole thing with Jerichoholics Anonymous, and it was where Jericho was just completely bad mouthing his dad for being a drunk and how his sister had substance abuse and everything. It could have been done so badly, and then You've got Punk coming out on Raw beforehand because he's making him do a wellness test live in the ring.
He makes him walk a line, doesn't he?
Yeah, because Punk's pretending he's pissed and stuff, and he's there. He's tripping up when he's coming down to the ring. He's talking to them on the thing, and he drops the title and everything. And the first time they're like, "Can you recite the alphabet backwards?" He's like, "Oh, Z, X." There's a W in there somewhere and stuff, and then it's like can you walk the line and everything? And as they're about to say, "Oh, you know," and he's like, sort of, I fooled you all and stuff, and he does the whole way he's like doing a Ric Flair strut along the line and everything while he's reciting the alphabet backwards. But then the match itself is it turns out it's actually in Chicago again, and it's a Chicago street fight. So as you know, it's a street fight. You wear wrestling boots and jeans because that's what you do, unless you're Shawn Michaels, and then you wear cowboy boots. But never mind, dick. Still not over and blocking me. Anyway, but yeah. So as I said, that whole build up to it was amazing. Punk cuts an amazing promo before the match. How he's there, like his family's there, but he's also got 20,000 of his closest fans there. And then as he's coming to the ring, they say there's 15,000 in attendance, which did make me chuckle. It's like, so where's the other 5,000 gone? But never mind.
Yep.
Because they've done the thing as well where Jericho smashed a bottle of Jack's over his head and everything. I think the week before or something like that, where he's pouring beer down his throat and Jack's over him and everything like that. It's like, it's a hell of a night in fairness, if you're not straight edge. But yeah, so basically it's a Chicago street fight. And again, it's just basically just those two just tearing the shit out of each other. Whereas the WrestleMania match, it was if Punk got disqualified, he'd lose the title. This one, there's just nothing to it at all. It's just like sort of them just Punk's let loose on him. He's just battering them. There's kendo sticks, fucking chairs, everything. Jericho gets out cans of beer during the match and everything. Obviously, you can see the limitations on there where you kind of think they want to smash each other over the head with the weapons and everything. And they're sort of like, oh, shit, no, we can't do it. And so they're doing that. It's like a back and forth type thing. Jericho hits a couple of code breakers throughout it, including a proper sick one with a chair between his knees and Punk's jaw and stuff, and it looks really good. So it's basically like him just jumps up and pulls him down, but with a chair there, which you can't see my hands doing, so I'll stop doing that. I don't know why I'm doing that. Fuck's sake, Mick. But yeah, so it goes back and forth. He's got him in the wall to Jericho for ages. Punk gets to the ropes, and they're like, "Well, it's a street fight, so it's no rope break or anything." And then he sort of crawls more to go into the ring, and he pulls out a fire extinguisher. And when Jericho drags him back, he turns around and gets the fire extinguisher to the face. There's a bit where Punk does his terrible elbow drop, which I will say that now, as good as he is, the man cannot do a fucking top rope elbow. I'm saying that now. Sorry if anyone else is offended by that, but his top rope elbow is worse than Bailey's. And Bailey's isn't that good. That's my opinion. But he does that from that to the outside through the table. They've done the bit where they've stripped the turnbuckle cover off and everything. Jericho goes for a GTS. He has him up in the go to sleep, and Punk reverses it and gets him into the sort of the slingshot thing. Slingshots him into the exposed turnbuckle straight away, gets him up, hits him with a GTS, and it's fine. It's over. But yeah, no, it's such a good match, and like I say, based on the storyline that went with it, the storyline had so many opportunities where it could have crossed so many lines. But because it was two of the best, they managed to keep it so that it didn't cross those lines, but still kept everyone invested in it. You were still really pissed off with Jericho as the heel. You wanted Punk to win it. You'd seen him coming out of an English pub and stuff like that when they won a tour and everything as well. So yeah, it's a really good match, as I say, and for a rematch, because the WrestleMania match is very good, but this one's like sort of a next level. This is a really, really good match.
Yeah, I remember that feud. And I don't know, I've watched WrestleMania match back And yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, on repeat viewing, I think on first viewing I was disappointed with it. But I think I'd gone into it with such high expectation.
Yeah.
It's actually a good match. I don't know. I was expecting like a fucking 10-star Tokyo Dome, banger or something. But yeah, it's just a whole feud between Punk and Jericho was awesome. The promos were great. I watched the promo before the WrestleMania one, where Jericho was accusing him of being a Jericho light.
Yeah, because he's saying that you're not the best in the world, I'm the best in the world.
Yeah.
I was saying it first and everything.
Yeah, and he's like, hang on a minute. So you think I stole it off of you because you used to say it? Well, there used to be somebody that we both used to enjoy watching back in the day that used to say it. You know, a certain Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
It's like, well, so did Bret steal it off you when you were like 2 years old or something? You know, he's Canadian too. Did he steal that from you?
I didn't get a chance to watch it as well, but when I was on YouTube, there was a promo on there which I haven't watched back, and it's where it's Punk and Bret in the ring talking about what would happen had they have had a match and stuff like that. But I didn't watch it back. I just seen it on there, but I didn't get a chance to. So I will be watching that at some point.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I didn't catch it. So, Mr. Palmer, do we have any more goodies?
I have the 2004 Pure title match versus versus AJ Styles from Ring of Honor, which I think is the one you alluded to.
Yes. The one with Mrs. Kazarian.
Is that who that was?
That's Tracy Brooks. It's Mrs. Kazarian.
She is, yes.
Dressed as Britney Spears with orthopedic shoes on.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Yes, orthopedic shoes. I don't know why.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry. Even the Miz appreciates that. That's awesome.
Are they still married? Is Kazarian still get married?
Yeah, they're still. I'm sure they're still together.
Oh. Wow. So anyway, yeah, you got not bizarre rules. You got unique rules in the pure title match. You get 3 rope breaks each. After you use your 3rd rope break, you can't use any more rope breaks. If you try to break up a pin using a rope break or a submission move, that will not help you at all after you use a rope break. You can't use a clenched fist. If you use a clenched fist, you lose a rope break as well. A 20 count on the outside. A DQ can cause a title change as well.
Did they stick with that, or was that just because it was the first finals of the match and stuff?
I'm pretty sure they stuck with it for a good few years. I don't know if they're still doing that now. Maybe someone in the comments.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, bloody hell.
I don't even think that title exists anymore now.
Really? Oh, fuck. Bloody hell. That's a shame.
Again, someone might be able to tell us if we're right or not, but I don't think that exists anymore now, that title.
That's a shame. Oh, I should bring it back, I think.
They listed off a list of the people who were in that tournament as well. And again, it was a proper who's who and stuff. Well, that and Jimmy Rave. But...
There's another team called like Charlie Parker or something. Who the fuck's that? Not the jazz singer Charlie Parker, or jazz musician. So it starts off where there's like chain moves. Punk is caught in an arm wringer by AJ Styles. He's doing everything to try to get out of it. So he does grab the rope and flip out of it. But then the ref goes, "That's a fucking rope." He loses a rope break. So he's down a rope break. He's got 2 rope breaks. Styles has got 3 still. Punk's arguing with the ref. What the fuck are you doing? Even on commentary, they don't even know. They're not even saying.
I think that happens twice. I think that happens twice to Punk, doesn't it? Where they're like sort of, oh, I don't think it's a rope break, and he's been screwed over and stuff. But
completely bamboozled by the fucking rules. So then Styles there's some sort of kerfuffle. Styles gets Punk in the Styles class position, then Punk reverses out of it, gets a hold of AJ Styles' leg like he's going to go into like a heel hook or something. And Styles grabs the rope. That's a definite fucking rope break. So now they're like 2 rope breaks each. And then go outside. They lock up, and they lock up outside. They roll outside. They roll around ringside along the barriers, locking up. You're just like, what the fuck's going on? They're locking up. The rest 10, 11, 12. They're still locked up. They're still rolling around at it. 13, 14, 15. They stop. They look at each other. Dart back in the ring. So get back in the ring.
I'm not a fan of the 20 count, by the way. It's a no for me. I don't know. I think because I can only get to 17.
What, have you lost 3 toes or something?
Yeah. It gets cold in Wales, you know. I'm in a bit of a valley here.
Fucking frostbite.
Damn you.
I can only count to 17 now. I don't take my trousers off and count to 18 in case that freezes as well.
I can't wear flip-flops. Fuck's sake.
That's shocking. That's horrible.
Oh, fucking hell.
Sorry, Ray.
So, yeah, 16. Thank fuck. They run back in the ring.
Get in. There's a crisscross. AJ goes out of the ring to try and batter Tracy.
Yeah, what was that crisscross about, by the way? They literally just started running for no reason. There was no lock up or anything. They just looked at each other and started running in opposite directions.
What's going on?
For some reason, that stuck in my head the whole time from watching it. And it was like, what was the deal with the crisscross? Come on.
It made no sense. Going after Tracy Brooks made no sense as well. AJ's got a whoa, what's going on? Punk hits a plancha, hits Styles. Styles hits a dropkick on the outside. Punk hurts his leg on the concrete. The ref counting all the while, so goes back in, rolls in the ring to break the count, goes back out. Then CM Punk Styles tries to whip CM Punk into the barrier. Punk reverses it, whips Styles into the crowd, and dives into the crowd. There's a holy shit chant. Back in the ring, there's a Boston Crab from Punk. Styles has to use the rope. In Boston, loses a fucking rope
it's just
break.
a crab.
It's just a crab. It's like in Ireland, an Irish whip is just a whip.
Oh, I wouldn't name so many more wrestlers.
In India, deathlock's just a deathlock.
That's not just in India. That's in any like sort of Native American fucking tribal ground as well. Just a deathlock.
There's a roll up.
Nick's gone.
Nick's broken.
We broke Nick. He's also trying to think of more country names. We've got to move this up.
In Texas, a cloverleaf is a cloverleaf. What?
So yeah, Boston Crab.
In Boston. Crab.
Crab.
Got him in a crab.
So a weird submission move where Styles it's like a tarantula, but it's Punk's backwards on the rope, and Styles his legs wrapped around Punk's throat, and he's backwards grabbing his leg, kind of like some sort of weird reverse tarantula move. And it's illegal because he's using a rope, but Punk gets a fucking rope break taken off.
That's the one. That was the second one. Yeah, that move's racist to other spiders, by the way.
So yeah, he loses a fucking loses a rope break to that. But even the commentary is just like, oh, why? We've got to clear that with the rest. Punk's on the Styles is on the rope doing some sort of rope walk. Punk trips him up, hits a brain buster, gets 2 from that. Punk then straps on a single leg crab. Styles gets to the fucking rope and then loses his last rope break to get out of it. Punk slaps on an Indian deathlock, but of some weird description. It looks like an Indian deathlock. Styles reverses
The
it.
Deathlock in Delhi.
No. Punk uses a fucking rope break to break that hold, so then none of them have a rope break anymore. So the guy took it out of a pin by using the rope. No, it won't count. Try to get out of a submission using the rope. No, that won't work. I think if they use a closed fist, they'll probably get disqualified for this point and lose the title.
Unless it's in the stomach or ribs, which they allude to on commentary. They said it's a closed fist to the face only because they said after that they're talking about how when they're hitting each other in the ribs, saying obviously this is not the case where it's only if you hit them in the face and everything. It's like still a punch.
Yeah. Punk hits a Shining Wizard. It's a nice clean Shining Wizard. Gets a 2 off that. Punk gets a pile driver, goes for like another submission crab type move. AJ Styles goes to the rope, but he uses the rope to climb up, kicks Punk in the face. Punk gets a hammerlock DDT, gets a 2 off that. After it's a reverse from a discus clothesline from Styles.
Because didn't they say he'd won his last match or something like that with a discus clothesline and knocked Jimmy? I think it was Jimmy Rave actually. He knocked Jimmy Rave out with
clean out.
Because this was both their third matches of the night, wasn't it? I think they said.
And then Punk tries to go for the Pepsi plunge. Styles hits the Pele kick. Whilst Punk is still dangling on the ropes. Styles gets to the middle rope, slaps on the Styles Clash, and it's in the reverse position as well. So it hits a reverse Styles Clash from the middle rope, wins the match, wins the pure title. And everyone comes to the ring, and then it says muted fucking audio for some reason.
But Punk spends the whole time complaining because he had his foot on the rope. And I'm assuming it's along the lines of, when it was muted, it's him complaining because he got screwed out of 2 rope breaks. And his foot was on the rope then. Because he kept saying about the rope breaks. Because he had those 2 rope breaks took off him. But obviously because of that, when his foot was on the rope from that Styles Clash, it made no difference. So he gets to heal it up. I was screwed over.
I was hoping that he was going to hit a German suplex, which obviously in Germany would just be a suplex.
There you go. Fuck.
I love the fact you sat there for 10 minutes and the best you come up with is Germany.
I got excited at one point. I went like that. I
know. I was wondering what it was you were doing that for. So I guess he's got something to say, yeah. And I was just thinking, if he interrupts him now with a fucking country.
Could be worse. I could have said it was, it could have done a Texas cloverleaf, or in Texas it's just called a cloverleaf.
Or in Georgia, if you hit a pill with a plunge, it's just a plunge.
Or Alabama slammer.
Slam.
Yes.
Oh. It's gone too far. It's gone, and it totally warranted that. But no, what that is such a good match, yeah. And we all watched it because it was the first one that come up as well when we searched CM Punk Reign of Honor, I'm guessing.
No, Raven was the first one that came up.
Oh, it was the first one for me that come up.
All the Raven ones.
There was absolute loads of them. I can't recommend people enough. I mean,
Just
With the
search,
exception of this John Cena match.
just search Ring of Honor on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you're guaranteed to see absolute bangers. And they keep replaying them back as well, like sort of special episodes based on them and everything like that, it looks like. With Ian Riccaboni or whatever his name is.
I think there's a Tyler Black versus Daniel Bryanson match on there as well.
The matches that I didn't get a chance to watch, the matches which I didn't get to watch, which apparently are fantastic, I've never actually seen them myself, was the trilogy of matches with Samoa Joe.
Because the first two are 60 minutes each.
Yes. Yes, and I'm not going to lie, I had to watch half my matches tonight in 2 hours between getting home from work and starting to record.
Yeah, so that's another massive shout. If you could,
Nick does like to wait until Monday to tell us that we're recording on Wednesday. And us people who have jobs, you know.
Yeah, I've got a job.
I know.
Home and watch it while I'm working.
It's just a shout out for our unemployed folks. They can go back and watch all these.
Yes. If you don't have a job, go search for Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. 2 1-hour matches. And then obviously the third one.
Go to Starbucks, buy yourself 1 cup of tea, and just connect to the Wi-Fi and have yourself a fucking great day.
Exactly. Imagine though, 60 minutes. I mean, no offense to Joe, but his cardio must be next level for a guy of his size to go 60 minutes as well. That's impressive.
It was common for him as well, though.
Yeah.
It was very common for Joe.
He wasn't really that big then.
Oh, he was. No, he was always
still quite big.
Compared to the size of the guys he was wrestling, even like when he was the giant of the X division when he was there, when he went on that big undefeated streak in TNA and everything as X division. He was a giant compared to all the others, like size wise.
So, but yeah, recommend those. I will get around to watching those at some point. I think there's actually, if you go on eBay, I'm pretty certain there's the trilogies out on DVD. I think because they said when they was talking about it that it's the best-selling ever Ring of Honor DVD or something. You know, the trilogy.
There's also some really good ones on YouTube and also on his DVD as well. A lot of his stuff with Chris Hero in IWA. The one where they had the ladder match where they tried to pull the roof off the building that was going to be closed down. And they talk about it and they're just saying, we knew it was our last match there and we wanted just to actually pull the building down. And you can see them on the ladder match just trying to fucking yank the fucking sleepers out and everything. It's
literally bring the roof down.
But his and Heroes matches in that especially were meant to be fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good mates. That's why he left.
Yeah,
because they did Hero bad. So say what you say about Punk. He's got his principles. He's got his morals. They did Hero bad, so he walked out on them. And it's like,
unless you won't testify for him in the court, but
besides that, you know, that's a sidebar. So I mean, obviously we've gone through matches, we've gone through promos. Meant to ask at the start, really, to try and gauge your thoughts on Punk. I mean, well, are you guys like pro Punk prior to this, or you sort of just think it's overhyped indie bollocks?
I think it's a combination. I genuinely think it's, for me personally, I think it's a combination. I am a fan of his, and his body of work I think is fantastic, but I don't think it's to the level where it warrants. What are we now? Was it 2014 or 2014 he left?
It was 7 years ago, the pipe bomb.
Yeah, but I think 7 years since he left.
Yeah,
and I don't think it warrants people still to be chanting his name at shows and stuff to come back, especially if you look at the abundance of talent who we've got shown on TV and live shows and stuff like that at our fingertips constantly. I don't think it warrants that kind of stuff because, you know, he was good. As I said, his elbow drop for me is possibly the worst I've seen in the business. The top rope one, it's up there with Chavo's frog splash. As for how awful it is.
Oh, it's Three Amigos.
Oh, I did watch the Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam where Brock Lesnar hits the Three Amigos, which is fantastic. And then you've got the fans chanting Eddie, Eddie when he does that. And somebody in the comments on YouTube said, wouldn't it have been great if Brock then hit a frog splash? And I was just thinking that would have been fucking amazing.
Brock's never going back up to the top rope ever again.
No. Bless him.
No.
But that's a hell of a match, by the way.
Yes.
Heyman in that especially is unreal. Heyman in that Brock Lesnar SummerSlam match
It will
is
be like
unbelievable.
Tony kind of thing. And it'll be two guys trying to make each other look good. That's the thing.
I think that was the last time Brock went over 15 minutes as well, probably.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, valid point. It's Palmer.
Because that one goes on about half hour, doesn't it?
I'd
I
say
think
so.
it's
Yeah,
something like that. I'd say I think it's a good half hour. That one goes on, but
it's well in the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's well into the 20s.
Drop a pipe bomb on us, Palmer.
Yeah. No bad one from me. Yeah. I've always been a CM Punk guy from watching him and catching his stuff on the wrestling channel back in the early 2000s.
Shout out to that. God, how I missed that. That was amazing.
It's really missed. It fell into this decline and then just disappeared, but it was a mine of friggin' information, a mine of other wrestling organizations, good and bad.
It opened my eyes to a lot of people who I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Absolutely.
And they absolutely fucking loved AJ Styles on that. Every other advert was a fucking 30-second promo on how good AJ Styles was.
It was either AJ Styles or Jody Fleisch.
Yeah. Both still going. I don't know how. And both still doing what they've done then as well.
I am a CM Punk guy. That's all there is to say. I don't know if he's got the chops to slot himself back into what's happening now. I think the games might have moved on. It's a lot faster than it was back then. So it's a case of, I think it's going to be a case of people now going down to his level instead of him trying to keep up with them. They're going to have to try.
I don't know,
slow
man.
Down.
I think Christian would be a really good example as a comparison. If you guys have watched
how good was he on Rampage?
Yes, that's it. The Christian Omega match.
God, how good was he on Rampage, man?
That was freaking awesome. But I can see Punk working a similar pace, similar style as Christian. I think that would be my sort of comparison.
Could be. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Friday.
The last thing he wants to do, though, is if he does start wrestling again, is, God, I hope he doesn't start trying to use MMA holds and shit like that after his UFC career.
Distance yourself from that. I mean, fair play. It winds me up when people...
I respect him for what he's done.
Yes, exactly,
I respect what he tried to do. I don't think he got there the way a lot of others have, though, for that. He got the contract on his name alone.
Yeah.
It was literally because of his name, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I do respect him for trying that. And then the fact that all through his wrestling career, they'd always said about his Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And the first guy he fights is a third down black belt in it or something. He turns out he's a yellow belt or something.
But yeah, I mean the dude, because he could have known it was going to piss all over his reputation. You know, if he went in there and lost like he did. It's a huge fucking risk, man. So, and then there's a 5 million. He got 5 million for it as well. So,
but technically, didn't he win one? No, hasn't one match been overturned?
It was the first one he got overturned because
Mickey Gore because he tested positive for marijuana.
Yeah. Which, in all
fairness, it was a draw. It was a draw.
Oh, was it a draw?
I think so. Yeah.
That, man. It's like sprinters. If you're going to suspend them or dock them for winning after you've had a joint, it's like, you know what? It probably takes more effort to win after you've had a joint.
Give us the Olympics with drugs. I want to see a man run 100 meters in 6 seconds and then decide to carry on and run 400-meter hurdles in 20.
Anyway, we digressed. So before this, we was all pro Punk. then, by the sounds of it, anyway. We all had.
And he's a very good actor. I will say that.
Yes.
The
Girl
girl
on
on
the
the
second
third floor. Is it? Really good film, and he's really good in that as well. Just to
He's not
say,
too
I'll have to
small.
try.
what?
I'll have to try and we watch that. I got bored of it after.
No, it
half an hour.
gets really good.
No, it does pick up. I
It
enjoyed
picks
it.
up. It's really, really good.
On
Yes,
that
definitely
recommendation.
rewatch it. Get past that first 30 minutes.
Yeah, man, characters develop, dude. I've just totally lost my train of thought. Then I was thinking about
But yes, we're all pro punk.
yes, pro punk. So hopefully, you know, I think I was going to say earlier, barring the John Cena match, we've barely touched on his WWE stuff. We've discussed the Summer of Punk, how they fucked it up. But I think a lot of people can have their eyes open if they go back and watch the Ring of Honor stuff. The dude had some banging matches in ECW as well, to be fair, against Johnny Nitro and a few
Kevin
other
Thorne.
people. Oh, God. Sidebar.
We haven't even touched on his match with The Undertaker, which was possibly his best WrestleMania match.
You haven't touched on the Straight Edge Society stuff, which was very underrated and was fucking awesome. And you see deep on AEW now.
That's what I want to see if he comes to AEW. Is I want them to bring Serena straight back, and have they could redo the Serena. They could redo the Straight Edge thing. I think.
Have Gallows piss off Anderson.
Well, let's face it. That's what Rollins was trying to do with the Monday Night Messiah. I think he was trying to do a new version of Straight Edge, wasn't it?
Yes.
Straight Edge Light.
Yes, as opposed to being Edge Light. But the Mask, shout out to the Mask as well when he got his head shaved, and he came out with like the Straight Edge Society mask. If you go back and watch
that match as well,
was awesome. Oh,
that match with Rey Mysterio.
Yes. Yeah, he had some banging matches against
the hair versus Mask match.
Yeah.
Despite the referee's best attempts to try and stop it, because his head was bleeding.
Yeah,
that was why I didn't go back and watch those ones, because that annoyed me so much that time, especially if there was any sign of any blood, the referees just stopped any flow of any matches. And as good as that match is, the Rey Mysterio one, then you've got to watch it just solely for the bump where he throws Mysterio under the bottom rope and he goes head and chest first into the fucking barber chair.
Yes.
But Mysterio, that is one of the sickest bumps I've seen in ages. And still to this day now, it's one of the worst ones I've seen, but I fucking love that spot.
But credit to Punk as well, how much of a dick move is it to lose a hair match and then just come out with a mask on? Very much like Angle when he had like the wig and stuff, you know, just the audience are desperate to see, you know, this newly fucking shaven head. And you're like, no, mate, I'm wearing a mask, do one. You're not seeing it. But that mask is well, if you get a chance to look at it.
I still don't think that was as good as Angle's wig, though.
No, that was next level. It's take one. It was like
when it's up there sort of thing. And you can see half of his bald head.
That was awesome. But yeah, have a look at the mask. It's absolutely, you know, as far as masks go, it looks awesome. There's a lot of detail in it. It's spot on. So yeah, there's so much stuff we haven't covered because it was all sort of WWE stuff, and I presume a lot of people will know of that. So I think that we've all had the same sort of mindset of
stuff that we haven't seen as much of.
Stuff people don't know about. We don't need to shine a spotlight on stuff people know about. We want to try and do it on stuff that they don't know about, and it's all there on YouTube.
And I'd like to point out, by the way, I picked nothing but positive matches for once.
Well, no,
because I was going to watch Kevin Nash and I was going to watch Kevin Thorne, but I didn't. I thought I'm going to be positive once, and I didn't hear Taz's name once on commentary, Taz's voice on commentary. So I was over the moon with that stuff. So it meant I could be positive throughout.
Mick's winning
because I'm the Mick and I'm awesome.
All right, on that note, we are not going to put Mick in socials, so you don't have to interact with him. So, are you still in Facebook jail? Can we find you on Facebook? Can we find you on Twitter?
I'm back on Facebook. How long? I don't know.
Yeah, he is. And all I've been doing is stealing these posts and sending them to people because fuck me.
Excellent.
Oh, but we'll not get into that because it's a whole different fucking subject and it'll cause all kinds of shit. But fuck me, some of them posts. And yes, I've been passing them off as my own, so fuck you, Palmer.
I'm very miss of you.
Yeah, it's like the figure four. He invented it.
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter at Yardy316. I'm on Instagram as well. That's all I've got to say about social.
Right, go on then, Mick. What's your, do you want to plug your socials?
Mr. Mick Eagle on Twitter and Instagram. You'll see me lovely straight edge tribute on Instagram tonight about what I'm wearing, Palmer, just for you. And obviously Mick Connolly on Facebook. And yeah,
Sweet.
that's it.
Big shout out is if you're an Android phone user, head over to the Play Store where you can now and search for Johnners, JOHNERS. Wrestle with Johnners is now on app, so you can find us on the app now as well. So if you download the app, install it, work the left side is on there, you'll be able to access all the good stuff a lot easier. So yeah, do that. Well, I'll say it's a lot easier. Just go to YouTube if you want to do it. So yeah, that's it. Gentlemen, I think this might just be the most positive Mick related show that we've had.
So yeah, so who are we doing next then? Because I'm going to be. Oh
no, we're going to do this perfect. Let's not watch fucking Texas redneck matches or something. Or
I'll just sit and sing Rap is Crap for an hour and a half. It's fine.
Yeah. No.
I guess I'm banned from that one. No, we are doing Bash at the Beach, aren't we, next week on the Underground?
Yes. No, not next week. Holiday week after.
Week after. We're doing Bash 2000. Oh, I'm going to watch that 3 times between now and then. Because I love shit.
And you'll be really, really positive about it. That's the thing is, everybody else will be in their heads.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be more positive than I've been tonight.
Poor Paul. Like, oh no. Why?
Palmer loves it. He loves the Underground and my negativity because it rubs off on him. He becomes really negative about shit as well.
I have noticed.
He's like, Mick, you're right. It's shit. It's shit. Why do we even watch wrestling? It's fucking wank.
Gentlemen, I will wish. I wish you all a good night.
Yes.
Join me. Whoever's watching this, go YouTube, Ring of Honor, CM Punk, knock yourself out. Go watch some good stuff.
Watch his Undertaker match as well. It's a cracker.
Yes.